Today, I would like to present on the effects of divorce on a child's mental health. I find that very important because it affects children, parents, and families, and also causes an array of mental health disorders. As for the divorce rate, it affects over 670,000 families annually in the United States and has a divorce rate of 2.4 per 1,000 people per year. And these numbers show how many people are affected by it, and it's very likely that in our profession we will have to deal with someone affected by divorce or going through divorce. To understand divorce through one of the theoretical perspectives, I chose Erickson's stages of development. The child is affected in its development on all different stages. And in the early stages, it develops possibly mistrust when the care is very unstable. And later on in adolescence, identity might be impacted because of conflicting messages from parents. One parent might see the child as one person, the other parent might see the child as a different person, or maybe they will just tell the child different things or the teenager different things, and it will just cause a lot of confusion. Or maybe the teenager will just generally be someone else for the one parent than for the other. And then in long term effects, it can also cause issues when it comes to intimacy and building a long term relationship because the whole idea of marriage and long term partnership is poisoned by the divorce. As for psychological effects on children, children suffer emotional distress, including depression and anxiety. Also, they suffer self esteem issues that arise from neglect or emotional isolation, possibly also abuse. And research also found that maternal support is very important to shield from the psychological effects. And if a mother has a lot of education and on this topic and is counteracting those issues, it's less likely to develop mood disorders. As for the educational effects, research has found that divorce results in academic decline due to the emotional distress and also reduced concentration. Studies show also increased dropout rates among children, and economic challenges lead to less educational opportunities because let's say the family moves away from the area or they have less money because they are going through divorce, or the mom has to take care of the children all by herself. They might not have the means to find a tutor or a grade school for the child. For the social impact, those children might suffer isolation. They might have difficulty forming friendships or relationships. They might have distrust towards the opposite sex. They might have difficulty forming romantic relationships, or those romantic relationships might be very volatile and unsafe in some sense. They also might have a distorted idea of marriage because of the divorce, and also a difficulty expressing emotion. Possibly, there have been in the household a difficulty of showing emotions, or emotions have been suppressed, or parents have been so distracted by the divorce that they neglected the child. As for behavior, studies have shown that children are more likely to display antisocial behavior. They might show more aggression, hyperactivity, and risky behaviors. Um, and it's very much linked to how the parental relationship was before the divorce and also to the separation itself. Children also show withdrawal and isolation, and again, they might not engage in relationships with others because of what they are going through with their family. As for protective factors, there is a multitude of protective factors. Um, some are emotional and financial support from the custodial parents. That means that if parents are there for their children and talk to their children, explain it to their children, that will protect them from harmful effects. And also if the money is there, because they can access resources, they can go to therapy, they can go to good schools, they can engage in extracurricular activities that will make create a balance and yeah, serve as a protective factor. And also, if the relationship between the parents is positive, if they are ending it on good terms, if the relationship before was good as well, if it wasn't hostile in the household, the child already has more resilience when it comes to the divorce. Another thing is also how well the mother is educated. There was one study that really highlighted the protective factor of the mother's education on the effects of divorce on the child. As for therapeutic interventions, it's important as a counselor to address the entire family and also to talk to the family before the divorce happens and work with maybe the individual separate, the child that is affected by it, but also like in the constellation of the entire family. And it's also important to work on the communication with all the members because it's going to make it easier for the child to communicate the needs if it knows that it's being heard. And then another intervention would be support groups for the children, where they find other children that they can share their experiences with. Maybe also support groups for the parents, and where they can talk about their experiences and just work through their issues before they bring it into the family and into their children. Sometimes parents can try to triangulate with the children and pull them onto their sides and use them against the other partner. So it's very important that each parent works through their own issues or with the other parent before they pull the child in. And then another one is to connect the children to extracurricular activities, to sports and arts, where they can find a good outlet for their emotions and also build resilience and also build again connections and work against this isolation that they might experience throughout the divorce. And for the developmental influences, it is important to consider how the stress from divorce can exacerbate mental health issues that children already have the genetic predisposition. It can be extreme stress on the child, and yeah, it can just make it worse very quickly. Also, the emotional distress, the lower self esteem, and behavioral challenges can be increased. And socially, it can affect the child on peer relationships and cause economic challenges, and also suicidal stigma. Even though it's very normalized these days to go through divorce, some children might still experience exclusion from peers or shame around the divorce. And then the impact on the individuals and society, mental health, higher rates of depression, anxiety, and behavioral issues in children, educational outcomes, academic decline, reduced access to extracurricular activities, and social behavior, trust issues, difficulty forming and maintaining relationships. And then the implications for practice, we want to do family counseling, like I addressed earlier. We want to start support groups to help children share their experiences, and we want to offer psychoeducation for parents on communication and co parenting strategies. And then the conclusion. So we found that divorce has multifaceted effects on children's development, and interventions and therapy mitigate negative outcomes. Also, the relationships between the parents help protect the child from negative effects. And future research should focus on long term impacts and also on how to increase the resilience in children further. And here are my references. And thank you very much.